Hello, sir.
Yes, my brother. Rega Kumado Anopai, my memo at Mwakwa Bamra, EZRA TV, EZRA Radio.
Thank you.
What do we need Israel, Iran, and Tokwa Ekosi? From where we sit, 8 implication. Dear you.
Oh, definitely. We have citizens in both countries. And every conflict, whether small or big, it has various impacts. Human lives could be lost, properties could be destroyed, strategy, corporate programs and national programs. And to that extent, Ghana has citizens in both countries. And we as a nation are one of our major concerns. The second one is these days there has been various alternatives when it comes to power generation. The Russians have brought in the nuclear power generation. Others have brought in gas. So not so many people depend on largely on crude oil. And even if you do, you can always balance it up. Other than that, those days, every bomb within the Middle East affects the price of crude oil. By net, and because of those alternatives, the price is a bit stable. We don't know whether it will go up or it will remain still. So when it does that, then nations are going to plan, and those contingencies plans comes with some expenditure they have not planned. If you look at Iran, within that space, they control about 25% of the global stations. And that is how tricky it is. And these are the major 2 to 3 issues about this particular conflict. It's a major problem for countries, including Ghana.
But Obi Bisasa, so the Yehui, Etuuncha, Israel, Adana Tintin, Iran, Adana Tintin, a possible escalation to the other part of the world, Anna.
Oh, definitely, yes. When you go to the United Nations Security Council, the permanent countries, China, Russia, it has always been 3 versus 2. I can say the West versus the East. And the West is always supporting Israel, predominantly America. And if you remember, this whole land issue, it was created by the British. What they didn't do right was to create the two-state solution. By this time we would have made a headway and come a long way. But so what has happened is that over the years, the Iranians have also moved towards the east, and now what we call now the global south. And see, when you attack Iran, you are bringing in the Russians and the Chinese. And to last year, now the Russia warship entered closer to Israel. The Chinese warships were also closer to Israel. And the Americans were forced to withdraw their warships because they would have escalated. Recently, China went by air to distribute food to the people in Gaza because of the killings and the bombardments and the blockage of aid into the area. So it's turning into the West have always supported Israel, and Israel takes advantage to do nonsense stuff. So the global South might also be supporting their own, which is Iran. But it can be resolved at the UN Security Council. If you remember, people have said Brazil should be part of it, but they say no. People have said South Africa should be part of the UN Security Council. Others say no. So the 5 countries, even though they have the power to veto whatever decision, I believe that it can only be resolved at that particular place. Other than that, has it got the power to escalate? Yes. And will it have global effect? Yes.
94.1. Enti niye hui. Na da Russia, Ukraine, Ghana, the 2 kra ba ya na ye to so because Russia, Ukraine. And na yehu Israel, Iran. Waka se fan wo ewiase obia wo kwan aye faso ye de enti yentimi e de na Ghana nso nye na no mete so okuje tabla kwase or the bomb shelters ma Ghana fo a wo Israel na yakova yitiri so Iran fo wo ho ma me ya we se Ghana fo over 50 to 100 so omu de omu Iran. The international diplomacy, how Ghana ye be handle ye de ewu.
These are issues at the diplomatic level. Donald Trump threatening to restrict travel, place a travel ban on Ghana. They can be resolved at the diplomatic level. Having said that, you need to move your citizens to a close-by nation and evacuate them, unless those who don't want to come, both in Israel and Iran. Because make no mistake, Israel is a very small country. So when you release a bomb, the devastation nature could be huge. And so that is the danger of what we are seeing. Remember again, the Pakistanis have always made themselves available that anytime a Muslim country wants to fight Israel and they need a nuclear weapon, they are ready to give it to them. Considering the fact that Israel has nuclear weapons and other countries don't. So there is a geopolitical complex issue, but it can be resolved. As a nation, Ghana, we need to follow on our allies within the Middle East to ensure that we move our people out, except those who don't want to come.
And who say, oh my Ghana, because nanka deal levia abine de ba wejai because usrusa here na fan wobo akosro. Ghana dey na free Israel ho, dey na free Iran ho directly.
Oh no, all countries all over the world have economic and social and technical relationships with all countries in the world, from agriculture to technology to education to medicine to everything. And the Israelis were yes for all these various reasons. And it's a bad nyama onyaprio, even the smallest countries in the world, because of the way the world has become, we all depend on one another, and whatever affects one affects all. But Ghana as a country, your foreign policy has always been that from the Nkrumah, we don't look to the east, we don't look to the west, we look forward. What means is that we are not an enemy to any of them, we are friends to all. And we are enemy to none. But yet, as a country, anytime NDC is in power, we will always support the Palestine. And so recently at the United Nations Council, we support the Palestinian cause, and the Israelis were not happy. We did so because of what happened in South Africa, the apartheid. And then again, if you look at it, many of the liberations in Africa, they were supported by the Russians. So our foreign policy, particularly when the Social Democrats are in power, it seems to tend towards the Palestine. And it's a reason why we might want to take some decisions which some other countries will not be happy with. But it's because of our historical background.
And Rebecca said, well, near air Kosono, or my Ghana, yen na in case of escalation, yen sono. Is that what you say?
Yes, to some extent. But even if they don't throw physical bomb to you, the impact of a conflict affects everybody. The Ukraine one affects everybody. If this one escalates to the next 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, and they are flying drones all over, it affects everybody. So we just have to prepare and make sure that we put our house in order. Donald Trump, they have fixed the U.S. aid and all that. Our government would need to find money to supplement where those aids were going to. So it's all part of what we need to do as a nation, that we cannot always depend largely on some of these countries. We need to put our house in order and make sure that whatever happens, we have a cushion up.
Mamena was say, Richard Commodore, Bibi ni ebe sign
Thank you. Thank you.
Bibi ni ebe to Mr. Freno. That was Richard Commodore.